Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mop here on a Tuesday morning. Yes, it is cloudy, overcast, and rainy. Well, misty more than anything. But it is what it is. So my question is, with the title today, stats and... See, people don't like stats. I'm a numbers guy. Always have been. Sales manager, anything like that has always been based on stats, whether you perform or not. And if you don't, how can we get you to perform? How can we get you to the next step? How do you keep track in your business of your top performers? Do you rely on the people below you? Do you rely on the people you put in positions? Do you rely on your salespeople or anybody, let's say your bartender? How are you portraying their stats? How are you knowing that they're not pouring too much or they're not costing you money while they work for you? How are you knowing advertising on the radio, newspaper, billboards, whatever it may be? How are you figuring out those stats? How are you figuring out the stats of what our government is doing for us? What actually makes you tick when the stats come out? When you see stats and you have them laid out in front of you, do you go, that's bullshit, I know that's bullshit, here's my stats? And do you have proof of your stats, or do you just rely on people going, oh, those are your stats, so they're true? Okay, that sounds good. How are you making sure what you're seeing? See, what I've noticed lately is people on the right and the left, especially on the right, if you bring stats, then you're called to being on your high horse and just shush it. I don't want to see those. Here's my stats. Or they also go, well, then if those are the stats, that's not true because I don't want to look at those. What about when he did this or when he did that or she did that? Like healthcare. When are we going to see a policy from the right? They keep wanting to bitch about Obama's healthcare and everybody else. But you know where the sector is going with Trump's plan for healthcare right now is he's going to give you a few $1,000 and then you figure out your own healthcare. That'll work well. That'll really work well. Since we have governments right now buying healthcare and it's expensive as hell, such as $6,000 deductibles or $7,000 deductibles and co-pays and everything else. And then we always bring up and they're like, well, why didn't this guy do this? Or why didn't Biden do that? See, they don't want to hear about what all transpired back when people had the opportunity to do it. Or if they were locked up and they didn't have the chance, now they do. See, my stance is that, and my mom always said this, it should never come down to should have, could have, or what have might have happened. If you have a time and a place to change that, then change it. So, right now, with the Epstein files, should have, could have, and would have has come out so many times it's ridiculous. Who gives a shit? Get to the bottom of it. I don't care about should have, could have, or would have. Get it done. Instead, we're over in Iran now. And they're going to have who's going to be in charge? Oh, they're all dead. The people that Trump had in mind to take over are dead, I guess. They must have been hanging out together or didn't get the memo that, hey, the bombs are coming. We had fighter planes shot down by Kuwait because they didn't get the message that we were coming. But nobody likes stats. Why? Because it tells the truth. See, if you're a sales manager, like I was for 15 years, whatever it was, 13 years. When you're a sales manager and your boss comes to you with a spreadsheet and says, here's the problem. I see this, this, and this. But then I was able to pull out my spreadsheet and say, well, here's what we are. Let's compare them. I get your point. I know what I'm selling. I know what I'm selling them for. I know what my guys are doing. I know what guys are doing profit per machine. I know what the store was there. The only parts that I don't see was when I was comparing notes was what you were doing to buy and what you were charging me for certain things in my department. So if I had a profit of, if you were in the day making 8%, 10% was the goal, and people are like, come on, you got to be able to, no, that's really the goal. If you can do that in new product in the power sports world, 10% is huge. You rely on all the departments to work together. But nobody wants to see those stats. Nobody wants to know how they're letting people down. Or, see, that's why I look at polls. It's kind of a baseline. But when's the last time you were called for a poll to say, hey, who are you voting for? Or, what's your plan here? Or, what do you think about this? And right now, I'm looking at how many hours that our government spends actually working. And I would think they would all be working this time of year with everything going on. But they're not. Because it's midterms coming up, and those that are in the government right now need time to campaign against people that are trying to get in there who have full-time jobs and have to do everything else but campaign, so they're doing that on their side job. But if you are right now losing in polls and you're a political party that's getting their butt kicked, and you have this time to campaign without losing income, which you're being paid for doing jack shit, you have a problem. You really need to focus and really look at things. See, I was told I was on my Democratic high horse again today. Not on my high horse. I look at things from a different angle. I've always analyzed businesses. See, if you've never been part of a business, and I think some of the people that do this, their husband is the business, they just get to take the baskets and the profits and enjoy their life while their significant others run the businesses. Kind of like if you're making military decisions and you've never been in the military, you probably should rely on people that are or have been, and not just somebody that works on a desk. I mean, actually boots to the ground kind of people. That's what I would think. I would think if you've never been, let's say, a salesman manager in the power sports world. Yes, you could be a sales manager in used cars or boats, whatever it may be. But if you're trying to be a sales manager in motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, you may want to get training on and really good knowledge on what used stuff is going for. Where's the market today? All those kind of numbers. And after a while, you get a pretty good baseline. You don't go half-cocked. You don't go in and not have a plan. Yeah, not have a plan is bad. Got to have a plan. So, that's where I'm at. If you don't like for people to quote stats, and stats are pretty easy to find, and good stats. See, then they get to the point of, well, I don't believe stats from this person, or I don't believe stats from here or there. Unless it comes from my source, I don't like it. Well, your source may not want to report it because they can't. If you haven't noticed, there was a news anchor that walked away after, I think, 40 years she was a news. She walked away because her affiliation told her she couldn't cover this, this, and this. She had to only focus on that. Walked away. You have senators right now posting stuff that makes absolutely no sense with no stats. See, if you want to intrigue me, you want to come after me, have stats to back up what you're talking about. If you are telling me right now this is the best economy we've ever had, show me the stats. Show me the stats besides your 401k. Show me the price of groceries, gas. Yeah, that's going to go up too, by the way. Fill up if you can. If you have a barrel at home, I'd probably fill that up too. We may be back to where you saw those homemade rigs driving up to gas stations and filling them all up. You never know. Show me where our farmers are getting the help they need. Show me where people that we're taking care of our vets. Get me the numbers. You have access to them. You're the federal government. You have access. State government has access. Show me the facts. Not just your thought, not just picking on the other side. See, if you're going to call me that I need to get off my high horse and that I am a Democratic high horse, then show me the stats where your Republican Party, since you're calling me out, show me where your Republican Party has helped with stats. Not just well, I was told. Because every time I've ever used stats with somebody, I always get no response to the stats. I get off your high horse, go pound sand, whatever. But if I look at businesses, and if you're making X amount, but your boss says you need to make more and you showing that you are making, I need to see the stats where it shows that I'm not from his side. He can't just come into my office and say, you suck, you need to learn more, when I have all the paperwork in front of me. If you have paperwork in front of you, or if I can show you where I'm coming from, and I have before, then you don't have a lot to say to me. But it seems to me always funny when you bring stats into the pictures. Ooh, they don't like that. They don't want to see those. Because then you're not just believing what's coming out of their mouth. Been doing this a long time. Treated people fairly. I grew up in a town that, unless you were in the upper echelon, you were looked down on routinely. And your name wasn't part of a long list of people in that town. You had to work twice as hard. Had nothing. That's why I became a bowler. Because guess what? That was based on individuals. I didn't like wrestling. There were some great wrestlers in that town. I played basketball, but it was basically just to not get any fatter or chubbier than I was. I also grew 4 inches after I graduated high school. It became a little late. So, but I was always told one thing. Take care of your neighbor. And treat everybody with respect. Kind of like the guy with the Vietnam hat this morning at breakfast when I stopped by the port. Thank you for serving. Truly appreciate it. Same as an ag teacher that has my utmost respect. Because of what he went through. But he also treated everybody with respect and made sure kids in his side of the school got treated the same way. Yeah, I know. If you don't have that last name and you're not up there, boy, not good. A lot of work, no matter what you did. Yeah, I've been through it. Show me the stats. Show me what numbers your party is going to do for me when it comes to health care, when it comes to me being able to retire when I should. What are they going to do to repay Social Security? What are they going to do to lower my taxes in the middle class versus giving gazillion dollars in tax breaks to the wealthy? See, there's a lot of people that let things go once their 401k starts going in the right direction. But what about those that don't have the 401ks, that don't have the opportunity for that? What are you going to do for those people? Well, who cares, Chris? They're not contributing, blah, blah, blah. They're not like us. Blow it out your butt. That's all I got for you. If that's all you're concerned about is what is doing to your bank account and not really worried about what other people are doing, that's when we have the problem. So, that's where I'm at. So, with that said, I knew I'd get flashback yesterday from a post I made just because I showed stats, and people don't like stats. I've come to the conclusion. See, I love numbers. I love to make sure that the numbers from last year were better. And I left a lot of money on the table, probably as a sales manager many times, because I just went with the salary version, not the commission version. But I also needed that stability as I was raising kids and making sure I could cover my bills and not have to have 2 months set aside that, and I probably could have. But I also know who helps me, I help them. If they have my back, I have their back. And for those of you who have ever walked away, sorry you did that. I think you've lost a loyal person, and you never asked what was going on or why things were the way they were. So, take time to look into some stats and numbers before you get on your high horse and tell me that I need to wake up. I'm pretty well educated in that category. So, have a great day. Thanks for tuning into the Mop. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another edition. But again, look deeper than just what you're seeing in words. Look into the numbers. Have a great day. Take time to bless somebody today as well.